Welcome back to Calculus 1, and welcome to week 11 of our time together. Well, this week marks a dramatic change from what's been going on in the course. For the last 2 months, pretty much every single week has involved derivatives in some form, and this week is a sudden exception. We're really not going to be looking at derivatives this week at all. Instead, this week we're going to be looking at integration and area. Though you might think that what we're going to be doing is computing a bunch of areas, and that's true, but it's be more precise to say that this week is about defining the very notion of area. Think back way at the beginning of the course when we first introduced the derivative. You might have said that the derivative was computing instantaneous velocity. But that's not the whole story, right? The derivative doesn't just let us compute instantaneous velocity. The derivative defines what the very idea of instantaneous velocity means. In the same way, this week, we're going to cover the integral. And the integral does compute area, but it computes area in the same way that the derivative computes instantaneous velocity. Right? The integral will define what area even means, right? We're going to try to write down an actual definition of area under the graph of a function. Now, how does this fit in with the rest of the course? Well, last week, in week 10, we looked at anti-differentiation. And this week, in week 11, we're looking at integrals and area. And next week, in week 12, we introduced the fundamental theorem of calculus. And it's that fundamental theorem of calculus in week 12 which will tie together the material in week 10, anti-differentiation, and the material this week, integration, and reveal that anti-differentiation and integration are somehow related. So unfortunately, to really understand, why, for instance, we did the stuff in week 10, you've got to wait until week 12. And this week, we're sort of stuck in the middle, where we're just defining the kind of basic notions of what area means. We're also going to be introducing sigma notation and doing some summation problems. But that's really necessary just for being able to write down the definition of integral. Now, I should also say that you've got a midterm that you're probably still working on, and that's great. And if you've got questions about anything, that midterm, the material from this week on integration, where we're going, where we've been, anything about the course at all, please contact us, right? Send us a message or write to us in the forum. We want to make sure that all of us can make it past that finish line together.